The story of the alphabet that we learned at school was simple. It was invented by the Phoenicians, and it was then copied by the Aramaeans, the Hebrews, and the Greeks. And so a Semitic language on the shores of the Mediterranean inspired the European alphabets and finally the alphabets around the world. But there is a much bigger picture. There are an estimated 6,909 languages, of which 2,200 are written languages and therefore have their own alphabets. And they belong to 13 language families. The book Alphabets of Life attempts to look at this big picture and studies specifically 5 world languages, languages that affected countries far beyond the country where they began. And these are Chinese, which affected the Sino-Tibetan languages, Cyrillic, which affected the Cyrillic languages, Sanskrit, which affected the Indian languages of the Indian subcontinent, and also 8 other language families in Southeast Asia and Australasia. Latin, which affected the Romance languages and Latin languages generally. And finally Arabic, which affected the Afro-Asiatic languages. Cyrillic, as we know it today, began recently in the 9th century. But there is a very long prehistory of an old Slavic alphabet that goes back to at least 5,500 before Christ, and it was linked with the cosmos, cosmograms, and various elements of the universe. Sanskrit began by studying the sounds of the human voice, but it became linked with the energy centers in the body, the chakras. It became linked with a series of locations throughout the Indian subcontinent, pithas. It became linked with the zodiac signs and with the constellations of the heavens. And so what had begun as an alphabet for the language became linked with anatomy, geography, astronomy, cosmology, religion, and even philosophy. When we were at school, we learned that the alphabet theoretically began when people learned to get away from drawing specific pictures, pictograms, or logograms, and through a process of abstraction, they were able to make letters which had no inherent meaning. A study of the old alphabets reveals that the letters originally had great meaning and that they were linked with the symbols connected with the heavens and the microcosm. So stories of cycles on earth, of nature, and also the stories of the skies, to explain creation, birth, the cycles of life, and the hope of a returning life. And so what began as the alphabets were really alphabets of life. I hope you enjoy the book. Thank you.